Right.
I said, it goes much better for you. But, as usual, Stefan has to lie his way thinking through this, thinking he's the smartest guy in the room. And he's
Right.
not.
No.
You're dealing with professionals.
Right.
They've
Right.
already got the goods on you.
Yeah.
If you think like a logical person and you realize that there's cameras all over the place, they're on doorbells, they're on street
Everywhere.
intersections, they're everywhere. You can't get from point A to point B without somebody seeing you.
Even dash
some point,
cams. Even dash
they'll
cams now.
backtrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to backtrack you.
Yeah.
So anyway, they finally they let Jen out to let her go get something to eat, and so we go up to a restaurant
Right.
and get something to eat. Now, keep in mind, I'm still thinking that Maddie's missing and nothing mysterious or suspicious is going on, and there's no harm has been done.
Right.
And I'm just, after I talked to the police, about 9:00, and we finally leave the sheriff's station, Jen asked for me to take her home.
Okay.
Now, throughout dinner and throughout the ride home, Jen is sitting next to me. She's already now seen the images. She knows exactly what's happened with Maddie.
Okay.
And she's sitting there as calmly as you and I are talking.
Yes. It's so good to hear this from you. Okay. All right.
If I was the mother or the father, I'd be beating the crap out of somebody royally, and certainly not sitting in the same vehicle with the father,
telling them how to get out of it, right?
So, and the funny thing is that at dinner time, she slid her chair so close to me, put her hand on my arm, and leaned into me because she didn't want to hear any of the people sitting around the restaurant. She starts to tell me what the police had told her and what they have showed her.
Oh.
So now this woman, this mother, knows. She described an image of Stefan's U-Haul.
Okay.
And Maddie's performing
oral
a sex act.
Right.
And she's telling me this just as matter of factly as she's giving me a recipe to make a cake.
How do you, yeah, what? What was your reaction?
I'm sitting here going, why isn't this woman scratching and yelling, screaming, ranting, raving, crying or something? But never demonstrated any emotions throughout the entire evening and I dropped her off. And matter of fact, before Stefan went down to the lobby, he asked me to hold his pocket knife. I said, oh, okay. And meantime, I gave him the phone. I said, well, here, take his phone so you can stay in touch and let me know what's going on. And so as we're pulling out of the parking lot, I realized I had this knife in my console, and I said, why did he give me this knife? So I picked up my phone, called the detective. I said, I'm coming back because I just realized that Stefan had given me this knife, and I've got it in my console, and I want to give it to you. I don't want it in my possession. I'm not sure what it could have been used for.
Right.
So I went back with her in the car and met the detective out front and gave him a sworn affidavit, and opened up a manila envelope, and I dropped the knife into it. And that was that. Gave it to him. That was it. In the meantime, the police had showed up at our house they said, during my interview, would you have any objection of police search your house? I said, no. I called Deb. I said, hey, Deb, they're going to come search the house. And she said, okay.
Right.
So, which they did. And we all know about all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I got home and found out Friday about this interview, and I watched this interview, I said, that's it. They've got his phone. You can't deny that. You got the photos on there. You can't deny that. I don't know why he's thinking that just because that they may have obtained it illegally, that he's going to get off on the SA charges.
Yep.
But he's never going to win the court of justice or the public. The court of public opinion he'll be another OJ, he'll be another Casey Anthony. If he thinks he's going to get out of jail on that, he's crazy.
Right.
And then certainly later the first degree murder charges came across, and then, his fate is sealed.
Right.
There's a great line in Forrest Gump. Stupid is as stupid does. And so that's Stefan. He's Forrest Gump.
Right. I mean, this is exactly the way that it's a lot more, what you said is exactly what happened in front of everybody else. So they told you the exact same thing then as everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had always trained Stefan in sales that said, you need to rehearse the script and you need to do it out loud. You should role play with somebody if you really want to be good, because you've got to see people's reaction. You need to hear you saying this and expressing this and practice it, rehearse it. If you think about any actor who takes on a character, I mean, some of them go out and if they're playing a police officer or something, they go out and ride with police officers. They get the feel, they get the tone, they get the nuances of what it's like to be a police officer. Right. You maintain your demeanor. You're not some, wild ass cowboy out there freewheeling and shooting people left and right and shooting people in the back, halt or I'll shoot, type of stuff. You can't do that stuff, especially more today than way back when.
I was going to say back then you could, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's these actors rehearse their part.
Right.
And and even in sales, you rehearse your part. You want to say things in such a brief and concise way that you're conveying some information to help somebody make a very important decision.
Right.
And that's all you're trying to do. And but it's got to be open ended. You've got to ask questions. They got to give you responses back, because they're going to help you tell them how to sell them. They're going to tell you what they're looking for, and if the product you have fits what they're looking for, then you want to key in on those items and tell them those things.
Right. Which he worked with you for a little bit, right? Or something in real estate. So is that why you told him that?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, a widget is a widget. Doesn't matter what you sell.
Right. Exactly.
And I've always written the scripts down, and where I've written them down repetitively, so they become imprinted in my mind. And then I'll go out and practice a piece at a time to see what kind of response I get back from the customer. And I go, okay, I didn't think about that. All right, I'm going to rephrase this and say it differently.
Right.
And that's how you go about practicing it. So my thinking is that Stefan called me first because I was going to start picking apart whatever he had to say, and which I did.
Right.
I was questioning him about, especially the next day when I said, the police are going to consider you to be a person of interest. Duh. You're the last person to see her.
Right.
And so I said, he tells me, well, Maddie didn't have her phone. And right away I go, okay, let me see. A teenager her age, not without her phone. Why not just slit your wrist and just leave your blood at home and go to school?
Right. Right.
I mean, you're taking your lifeline. You're leaving it behind. I don't think so. And then I said, well, okay. So now you got to come up with some evidence of where you were.
Right.
What about your phone? They should be pinging it off the tower. Well, I left mine home too. And I was sitting there going, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, no.
Then he tries to tell me this bullshit about his phone resetting. I said, oh, really? Yeah, I was doing an update and a reset.
Twice.
I'm a tech guy.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, bullshit to that. There's no effing way that happened.
Right.
But, oh, no, it happened. Okay. So now you don't have your phone, and Maddie doesn't have her phone.
Right.
All this is so very convenient. And then I'm watching your podcast tonight and listening to the timeline in these 10-minute conversation. Called me back 10 minutes later, and said, oh, I'm so sorry. I just got home and I left my phone at home. Well, yeah, he left it home because he had to, because he's driving around like he's driving Miss Daisy.
Right. Right. Yeah.
He's all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not sure what he's going to do.
I mean, do you think that they did this script? Were they so close with what they were telling you? You think Jen scripted this with Stefan? I mean, that's what I want to know.
I'm going to have some opportunity to talk to Stefan to see if he will give me the truth as to what happened. Okay. I mean, when he made the comment when we were first able to speak with him, he said, well, I didn't start it. And I shot back, well, you participated.
Yes.
I mean, who cares who started it? If right. You had a choice at that time to do something or not do it. And like, what did you not start?
Right. Right.
there was, that begged the question that you knew wasn't going to get an answer, but still participated in it. But I want to get to the truth. So do I think that Jen's involved? Yeah. I just don't know what to extent.
Right.
I think, for whatever reason, we've kind of theorized that Stefan's falling on the sword for whatever reason. But do I think he was the lone perpetrator in this? I think maybe he might have accidentally harmed her in such a way that she died, and then he described to us that he was up and down most of that evening, going up and down the stairs a few times. I can't believe that if there was some altercation or something, the roommates didn't report anything, because it sounded like it was very quiet. Right. But I tell you what, that Saturday night before he left town, Jay, if you saw the expression on his face, you would see such a look of panic and terror in his face. I've never seen anything like this.
Really?
He came out of his bedroom. I was in the kitchen, heading back towards the bedroom, walking through the great room, and he's coming out. He's got this look on his face, and he said, "Do you have any anxiety meds?" Sorry, I don't have that kind of issue. So no, I don't. You think Mom does? I said, I don't think she has any either, but you can ask her. And he was looking for something to calm his nerves. And then the next time I saw him was early Sunday morning. He was up. He was at the computer, and I was heading out the door. And then I thought he was leaving earlier in the afternoon, but I see that he didn't enter the Kissimmee area until 8:25 that Sunday evening.
Well, at least the times match up. Yeah, that's what they said. He got there like right after the party or right before Maddie got there. So, okay, that was good. Yeah. So I wonder what that panic was. I think that's why people keep saying Maddie was pregnant, because that comment of him having some weird panic on Saturday and being super panicked. I mean, we can all just speculate, except for pregnancy, because we know that now, right?
Yeah.
But
there was something disturbing. Something happened. Some event. Something was said. Right. And I don't know what happened.
Right.
The interesting thing is that after the police had arrested him, and then they'd been to our house, we cleaned out his room, cleaned it out entirely.
Right.
And then that's when I came across a couple of thumb drives. I throw them in the computer, hover my mouse over one of them. Nothing there, is empty. Put the other one in, hover my mouse over the files, and I could see the names of the files. I never saw any images because I didn't want to see any, because you can't unsee what you see.
Right. No.
And I go, oh my God. So I had already volunteered the desktop computer to the police. They said, come by and pick it up. And I took it out of the room, put it in the garage, and kept it there for safekeeping. And then we discovered this thumb drive a few days later as we're cleaning out his room. And then I come to find out later there was no hard drive in the desktop. And I said, that's interesting. So now I'm sitting there thinking, Saturday evening, something was said. He takes his hard drive with him, almost like, I'm thinking, is he leaving and not coming back?
Right. Well, kind of.
What, is he, maybe there's some premeditated thoughts going through his mind as to how to resolve whatever this issue was Saturday evening. I have no idea.
Right.
But I like to get to the bottom of it, and because I'm going to ask those questions, and now that he's already pled to it, and he's in prison, there shouldn't be any reason for him not to disclose what happened. But I have to wade through the BS that I'll be told and sort out truth from lies.
Yeah.
But that's his MO.
Well,
but, it's and I want to make one thing perfectly clear about our participation with Maddie and Jen and Stefan. If you were to add up the amount of years and days and minutes that time span involves, and the amount of time that we spent with them, it would be 0.000000 something.
Right.
Because we only saw him a few times. we would see them for a holiday. They would come down. They would go off into Stefan's room. We would get together for a meal. Then they would go off to Stefan's room. Debbie spent a lot of time with Maddie doing crafts and stuff and watching movies, and she loved playing with the dogs. But she would just be bopping in and out of the room where Jen and Stefan were. But the amount of time that we were around her, she seemed perfectly normal. She was laughing, giddy, spontaneous, and, a typical kid,
Right.
wanted to play with the dogs and throw the ball. I said, no, you can't do that with these dogs. You'll get them all stirred up.
Yeah. But I mean, according to you, and I know that relationship well. When parents live 2 hours away, you only see them maybe 3, 4, 5 times a year at the most. And they don't know what you're doing. My mom doesn't know what I'm doing. I only visit her a couple times. She has no idea what my personal life is,
Yeah.
Why would
you don't have GoPros on your kids?
No. And we don't want to, right, Chris? We don't want to. We don't want to see that.
Well, I mean, if you think about the stuff you got away with growing up and I got away with growing up, I said, how am I supposed to monitor a guy that's, 20 years, he's like almost 40 years old or 30 years old. You're not supposed to be doing that.
No.
You should know your kid well enough. You know what I cared about? Is he doing drugs?
Right.
Is there drugs in the house or is there booze?
Right.
As long as I don't see that, I'm happy. I never thought about any of this.
Right.
Not in my wildest dreams. I said, well, gee, if I were to do it over, I guess I would add that to my watch out for this. I definitely put a GoPro on them. But, you give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Of course. You would never think that of your child anyway. Like, I know I wouldn't. I never think of that worst thing.
Yeah.
So I hear that. There's nothing, in my opinion, you guys did a lot more than some parents would do. They had to smash the hard drive and not said anything or never even turned it in. So,
well, here's the problem with that. Okay. I mean, I could, what really annoyed me is I told the detective, I think Mark Davis is his name. I said, hey, I've got this evidence here. I think you guys should come get it. Okay, we'll get it. I had to remind him 3 weeks later that I was still sitting on this. Where are you going to come and get it?
Well, I'm glad to hear that because that's what I was telling people earlier. They got lazy with things. Oh.
Yeah. But they, so like I said, we cleaned out his room. We restored it to what the way a room should be lived in and what have you. And we got rid of everything.
Right.
And again, it would be very easy for me to have taken that thumb drive and just destroyed it. But you know what? I knew about it. Right. And I couldn't live with myself knowing about it. I don't care if it was damaging or not.
Right.
Maybe it was evidence that could help him. But I didn't really think that. But at the same time, I was not going to be complicit in a cover up for something bad he did. It just isn't in my moral character to do that. I can't do that. So could live with myself. I'd think about it every day. And suppose somebody found out differently. Now I'm really caught. Now I would have to fess up to it.
Right. And then you'd be behind bars and Jen would be out. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate
But I was extremely cooperative with the police and just at every turn, tried to find answers to some questions that lingered out there. And that's why I had that conversation with him in July. I said, maybe Jen had described to me one sect act, and somehow I had formulated in my mind that I saw an image of it. And of course, I had this conversation with the detectives, not realizing they were recording me. And that played out well on the podcast. I think I was castigated about that. And I said, hey, I'm just having a innocent conversation with these guys, asking the questions, trying to get answers to questions. And all of a sudden it turned on me. But, I was honest about it.
Right. Imagine had you not been. Whoa.
Well, again, I had nothing to hide. I'd be the first person, call him a DF.
Right.
Forrest Gump.
Right. Well,
I just don't understand the whole motive behind it. That's the frustrating thing.
That's what bothers a lot of us, I think. I think that's why we talk about it and we just don't feel like we got anything final. But I mean, I appreciate you. I mean, everything you said is exactly the same as has been documented, Yep. So I appreciate you for that.
It's hard enough remembering the truth, so trying to keep up with the lie is even worse. So it's just better to speak the truth.
Exactly.
You know,
Well,
when you get to our age, Jay, your age, our age,
yeah.
you know, you wise up. You know, you get all this maturity and experience, and you realize that, you know, it's best to just be forthright and honest and upfront. You know, hey, I screwed up. I screwed up. If I screwed up, I go into my boss and say, "Oh boy, I screwed up in this way." Oh, okay, no problem.
Right.
You know.
And then there's things you can't. You could screw up, and then now he's done. Right. He's done. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I
And look, I think
appreciate
you put
that.
on a great. I think you put on a great show. We enjoy watching you and listening to your audience, and listen to the specialists, the experts that you have on. So there's always something always appealing and intriguing about the information they convey. But the bottom line is that I'm pretty sure that Stefan and Jen had scripted this out, and that Stefan rehearsed it on me first before he did anything else, and then they tried to play out that act Monday evening, and again with the television interview.
So that's your theory then. Someone asked what's a theory. Deb was saying you had a theory. Is that because that sounds real plausible? They
Yeah,
tried it on you first, including him and Jen. And okay, that is it. That is it, guys. That's the theory that he has. They called Chris
but
first. Go ahead.
but you know, when I was there, Stefan had an opportunity to come to me and share with me. Now imagine that he comes to me and he tells me what really happened. What are my choices then? Stefan, I'm going to call the police. You're going to sit here. We're going to call the police, and you're going to cooperate with the police and tell them what happened and get this out in front. You know what he lost? He lost the opportunity to control the narrative. By him playing this game with the police,
Yep.
he ended up where he is. He may have been able to come up with something much lesser if he had been honest and open with the police, but he lost the ability to control the narrative. He sat there for 18 months.
Yep.
And finally ended up with a plea deal, and his comment in court like blew me away.
I know.
What the F is that?
I know. Oh man!
I said he should have just said, "I'm sorry for causing all this pain and be done with it." But no, we had to hear this drivel.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I agree with that too. I agree. I wish he wouldn't have said that, but I think he's really sticking to he loved Maddie and Maddie loved him, and I think at some point he's going to tell you a bit more. I do.
Well, that's what I'm hoping to find out if I ever have the opportunity to speak with him, because I want the truth. And he's going to be in a location. Look, you know, where we lived and where he was living, we saw very little of him. But the interesting thing is that they lived in the town next to us, down next to Northport, for maybe 8 months. You know how much we saw of them then?
How much?
0.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never saw them. Maybe they would come over once, maybe twice. But again, it was no different if they were 3 hours away or if they were 20 minutes away.
Right. I mean, it makes sense, though. You guys, they take a lot of pills, right? Jen seems to take a lot of pills and be high a lot. So maybe they didn't want to be high and doing their stuff. I don't know. You know?
Oh, well, she was always on high. I never tried. You know, always had it. It said, you're not going to vape in the house. Go outside. You're not vaping in the house. Don't want that crap in the house. And so they were the only time they come out of the bedroom was when they made their trips to go vape.
Right. And then Maddie, was she in the room with them a lot too, or did she out there playing?
Oh yeah, yeah. She was either in their room together, all three of them, or she was spending time with Deb or me or at dinner.
Right. Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, everything is exactly, and I hope that at some point you do get a little bit more closure. You know.
Well, when I do, I'll share it with you because we like you and respect you, and so we just hope this stays with you, and that we're not going to talk to anybody else.
No.
And so it's a Jay, Debbie, and Chris thing.
Well, thank you. Next time you have to tell, or you can tell me a dad joke right now if you want. You want to break the mood a little. you got any dad jokes? You pull them off pretty nice. I'm not good with jokes like that.
I'm not prepared for a dad joke right now, but and I'm not going to play the one I played for you at Easter time because that's an Easter thing. By the way, we almost share the same birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Well, happy belated birthday. But you're a Cancer, right?
No, I'm a Leo. I'm right on the cusp.
You're a Leo too. Oh yes, July 25th. Are you the 25th too, or the 24th?
No, I'm the 23rd. So I'm right on the cusp.
Oh yes, okay. Leos. That's it, folks. Leos. That's it. Well, thank you.
Leos
Happy
roar.
birthday. They do. They do. I could see why Deb has to be so tough now because she's got a Leo.
Well, she's a bull.
Oh,
so you got a bull and a lion living together.
That's true. Very true. Well, I do appreciate you. I don't want to take too much of your time. It was a surprise call, and I appreciate it so much, Chris and Deb. Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. Have a great evening.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, that was awesome. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Deb. That was a real surprise that they called in. And like I said, I was telling you guys before, I've talked to Chris and Deb, and it's always when they're ready to talk or what they want to say. I didn't really talk much. There's a couple things I asked, but I just wanted him to be able to get out what he wanted. I'll definitely timestamp this when the video processes. We're at 2 hours. Does anybody should we even do call in? Should we do a call in? Does anybody have anything they want to say? Let me see. I have it on do not disturb. Oh, is somebody already calling in? Oh, hold on. What's this? Okay. Wow, that was a real surprise. Definitely appreciate you, Deb. No, I did not see Chief Rocca. I don't know if anyone still wants to call in. I see a lot of things going on behind chat. I appreciate you, Nicole. I really wanted to make sure he got to say what he wanted to say. And there's a couple things I wanted to ask, but we got a real good. All right, you want to call in, Mr. Chief? Why don't we get this started by you calling in, and then again, this is going to be some call-in therapy, and then we're going to move on next week until we hear more, right? No call-in. Mr. Chris was awesome, and we are doing a giveaway. But I do feel like if somebody wants to call in and talk, we can do a call in, and then we can wrap it up with the giveaway. So if you want to call in, Chief, or anybody, I think a lot of people are just like trying to realize what just happened. No, if no one wants to call in, I'm good. I'm just gonna do giveaways then. I mean, that was really great. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you. Call. Let's see.
Call from
Chief Rocca.
All right, we got Chief on the phone. All right, we'll see what Chief's got for us. What you got, Chief? Thank you, Deb.
Hey, girlfriends.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right, what you got?
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question to Chris if it could be passed along.
Which one?
If they're still here. My question was the couple times that Stefan did visit when he lives so close, was his agenda for stopping and visiting for money or some other agenda?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I'm sure Deb could answer that. If I don't know if Jen actually got money from them. I think it was Stefan, and they were paying the rent.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. When Stefan would visit home, was that the agenda, borrowing money, or some other agenda, or
right? I
mean, just visit his parents?
He actually didn't even say that. He said they lived by each other for 8 months and he saw them in 0. So I'm thinking that the reason the in-betweens that he did need money was because of he wasn't able to sell the CSAM anymore, or even, the commissary. Right. I think they were doing okay, except for the parent. I think Deb and Chris were paying for that room until Stefan could get a full-time job. But I mean, I don't know if I'm still in chat, but I mean, I'll use my educated guess on that one. I don't think that they were getting money from him at that time. I didn't hear anything about that so far. So I'm going to say probably only on the downtimes. I do think Jen and Stefan were making money from Maddie though. So I'm going to speculate. Yeah, I think, I mean, yeah, I just wanted to do a call in to like kind of compartmentalize everything that we heard and say, okay, double back around. Did I actually hear that? And did it match? I think it did. I think it matched perfectly, right? With what happened. That's why.